Okay, what is up everybody? It's your girl Diamond Monet here, back with another video. And today we're going to be doing a used book or used bookstore book haul. Used book haul. One or the other. I don't know. If this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond. And on this channel over here, I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. So if that's something that you're into or you might be interested in, maybe you should consider subscribing to my channel. And without further ado, let's just get right on into it. All right, aside from one book, so I would like to say that every book that I have today, boom, came from the Friends at Germantown Public Library in-house used bookstore. And I paid $2 for every single book. Just $2, except for this one. I ordered this on Amazon and a package came in the mail today. This is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Miss Angela Y. Davis, and I'm excited. So Freedom is a Constant Struggle, Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement. I've been seeing this book everywhere, and plus, like I said, I have multiple projects that I'm continuously working on, and this book is going to be an additive to my research. And I just like to be informed about the things that are going on in the world today. So one of the most prolific activists, Black American authors, professor. She's a professor, she's an author, she's everything in between. She's an activist, like I said before, Miss Angela Davis. So the jacket are accolades. And it doesn't really tell what it is, or on the back it does. It says, in these newly collected essays, interviews, and speeches, world-renowned activist and scholar Angela Y. Davis illuminates the connections between struggles against state violence and oppression throughout history and around the world. Reflecting on the importance of Black feminism, intersectionality, and prison abolitionism for today's struggles, Davis discusses the legacies of previous liberation struggles, from the Black freedom movement to the South African apartheid movement. She highlights connections and analyzes today's struggles against state terror from Ferguson to Palestine. Facing a world of outrageous injustice, Davis challenges us to imagine and build a movement for human liberation. And in doing so, she reminds us that freedom is a constant struggle. So I'm excited about this. So this is the only one that I bought brand new for like $15.99 or something like that. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna take the books out the bag. So let's start with, I have Leo Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan, I can't read that. The Death of Ivan Ilich. I've been seeing this kind of float around BookTube just a little bit, and as I was browsing and perusing, I was like, oh, let me just grab this and pick it up and read it. So we have Tolstoy's most famous novella is an intense and moving examination of death and the possibilities of redemption. Here in a powerful translation by the award-winning Richard Prevere and Larissa Volokhonsky, Ivan Ilich is a middle-aged man who has spent his life focused on his career as a bureaucrat and emotionally detached from his wife and children. After an accident, he finds himself on the brink of an untimely death, which he sees as a terrible injustice. Face to face with his mortality, Ivan begins to question everything he has believed about the meaning of life. The Death of Ivan Ilich is a masterpiece of psychological realism and philosophical profundity that has inspired generations of readers. So yeah, and I like this cover a lot. I just saw it and I was like, let me grab that. Okay, I'll put it right here. Next up, we have The Stranger by Albert Camus. I read The Stranger and analyzed The Stranger back in undergrad, back in 2011, and I've never forgotten it. So I wanted to just pick it up and read it again. So yeah, it has the same thing. The Stranger has long been considered a classic of 20th century literature. Le Monde ranks it as #1 on its 100 books of the century list. Through the story of an ordinary man unwittingly drawn into a senseless murder on a sun-drenched Algerian beach, Camus explores what the term the nakedness of man faced with the absurd. Right, and it's or is it the trial that I'm thinking about? I know for a good old fact that I read this in college, but we also read The Trial. Is The Trial by Albert Camus? Because I might be getting The Trial mixed up with The Stranger. I don't think I am, though. Let's see, The Trial. Okay, no, see, The Trial is by Franz Kafka. It's such a blur, but anyway, I know who this is. I need to reacquaint myself with him. So when I saw it, I was like, why not? For $2, why not? All right, so next we have a Pulitzer Prize winner, 1,000 Acres by Miss Jane Smiley. To know me is to know that I'm completely obsessed with Jess over at Sunbeam's Jess. And one year, last year or the year before, she ranted and raved about how amazing this book was to her. And I just been like, okay, if ever I see it at one of my secondhand bookstores, I'm going to pick it up. So I picked it up. So yeah, I'm really excited that I finally found this. I've been really trying to hold off from trying to buy it retail. So when I saw it today, I just had to grab it. And so yeah, it's like a King Lear retelling, I think. So let's read the back. A successful Iowa farmer decides to divide his farm among his 3 daughters. When the youngest objects, she is cut out of his will. This sets off a chain of events that brings dark truths to light and explodes long suppressed emotions. An ambitious reimagining of Shakespeare's King Lear, cast upon a typical American community in the late 20th century, 1,000 Acres takes on the theme of truth, justice, love, and pride, and reveals the beautiful yet treacherous typography of humanity. And it won the Pulitzer, and I do think there is y'all, I love these. Look, a letter. It's a letter in it. Let's read it. Do y'all want me to read it? I'm gonna read it. This is amazing. All right, Dad. I went down to the Ford dealer and they had a yellow 79 Pinto with about 7,500 miles on it. A guy by the name of Tom Watson from Bancroft owned the car, and they decided they didn't want it anymore. So they turned it back to Lacos. They bought it from Lacos. They only gave $350 for the Oldsmobile. I told them $550 or $600, but they said realistically the car was only $200 in worth, but they moved the price up to $350. They are either financing the car through Tennessee Bank or through themselves, Ford. George, look, anywho's, so I'll stop and tell them you'll bring it as soon as you get it. Okay, she's basically asking her daddy for some money. Her name is Jalen. How sweet. I love finding stuff like this in here. How old is this book? Because Jane Smiley looks very much 1980s right here. So let me see. What edition is this? I love finding stuff like that in books. Okay, this is a First Anchor Books edition, December 2003. This is the 2003 edition. But it was first published. It was first published in 1991. So I know it's gonna be a banger. Y'all know how I feel about those older books. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I didn't know, this just looked interesting to me. This is called The Movie Goer by Walker Percy, and it was the winner of the National Book Award. I didn't know it until I pulled it off the shelf. It just was called The Movie Goer, and so this is what it looks like, and I'm gonna read it. When The Movie Goer was published in 1961, it won the National Book Award and established Walker Percy as one of the supplest and most deftly modulated new voices in Southern literature. In his portrait of a boyish New Orleans stockbroker wavering between ennui and the longing for redemption, Percy managed to combine Bourbon Street elegance with the spiritual urgency of a Russian novel. On the eve of his 30th birthday, Binks Balling is adrift. He accompanies himself dallying with his secretaries and going to movies, which provide him with the treasurable moments absent from his real life. But one fate Mardi Gras, Binks embarks on a quest, a harebrained search for authenticity that outrages his family, endangers his fragile cousin, Kate, and sends him reeling through the gaudy chaos of the French Quarter. Weary and wrenching, rich in irony and romance, The Movie Goer is a genuine American classic. Never heard of it. Published in 1961 originally, winner of the National Book Award. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna read it. So then we have one of my most favorite books of 2019. Or did I read this in 2020? I think I read this in 2020. We have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I actually did not read it. I actually listened to it on audiobook, and I have the audiobook on Audible, and I've never had a physical copy. So when I saw this, I just had to get it. There are so many mixed reviews about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but you cannot deny that, what's her name? That Taylor Jenkins Reid, she's just an awesome writer. I also read Malibu Rising, and I really loved Malibu Rising as well. I just really liked this. I also read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I really liked it as well. They're very entertaining novels. This one, honestly, borderline feminism. Now, there is some misogyny embedded in here because of the times that it was written and when Evelyn Hugo was coming up. And I know she probably drew on inspiration from most definitely Rita Ora. Not Rita Ora, but Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth, I want to say was Hispanic or something like that, but she had to like pass for white, as a lot of different actresses during those time periods had to do. So she definitely drew on inspiration from old Hollywood when she was writing this story, and I liked it. I was quite moved by this story, and I cried at the ending. So when I saw it, I just had to get it. So yeah, it's about, sorry, I didn't read it. For those of you who don't know, this book is about a woman named Evelyn Hugo who has 7 husbands. She literally, it talks about her marriage with these 7 people, or 6, I think. One she married twice, and it just tells the ups and downs of her and movie stardom as well, like coming up from having nothing to almost, I guess, having everything, and like the woes of the 60s and the 50s and 70s and things of that nature. So if you haven't, I think you should probably read this. It's just a fun novel. Nothing really deep about it. It's definitely literary fiction to me, but it's very plotty. If you like plot, you'll like this. Next, we have The House of Sand and Fog by Andre Dubus the third. This is another book that I have seen the movie, but I actually don't remember all of the pieces to put it all the way together. But I do remember it being a very moving story. So when I saw this, I was like, I vaguely remember that movie, but it was a good movie. You know what I mean? If you've seen House of Sand and Fog, let me know. But this also, well, it was shortlisted for the National Book Award, but it did not win. Published, let's see. Published in 19, I don't know. Hold on. Published in 1999. This is a 2000 copy. It's holding up. All right, let's read it. In this riveting novel of almost unbearable suspense, 3 fragile yet determined people become dangerously entangled in a relentless, escalating crisis. Colonial Barani, once a wealthy man in Iran, is now a struggling immigrant willing to bet everything he has to restore his family's dignity. Kathy Niccolo is a troubled young woman whose house is all she has left and who refuses to let her hard-won stability slip away from her. Sheriff Lester Burton, a married man who finds himself falling in love with Kathy, becomes obsessed with helping her fight for justice. Drawn by their competing desires to the same small house in the California hills and doomed by their tragic inability to understand one another, the three converge in an explosive collision course, combining unadorned realism with profound empathy. House of Sand and Fog marks the arrival of a major new voice in American fiction. Yeah, reading that reminds me of what I saw, like the movie that I saw. It was a very intense movie, I will say that, and I think someone dies at the end. I'm completely not sure. And then we have The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro, I think. Kazuo Ishiguro. This is another book that I've seen the movie. And I really like the movie, but as I've enjoyed my experience reading Cold Mountain and I had seen that movie, I'm just really down with reading the books of movies that I've seen before, even if I vaguely remember them. All right, so Remains of the Day. The Remains of the Day is a profoundly compelling portrait of the perfect English butler and of his fading insular world in post-war England. At the end of his 3 decades of service at Darlington Hall, Stevens embarks on a country drive during which he looks back over his career to reassure himself that he has served humanity by serving a great gentleman. But lurking in his memory are doubts about the true nature of Lord Darlington's greatness and graver doubts about his own faith in the man he served. I'm excited. I've never read Ishiguro. I think I tried to read when we were orphans or something like that. I tried to listen to it, but that's definitely a book I'm going to have to read. I remember literally trying to read it in last May, and it was just like, girl, whatever. Y'all, if I'm low energy, it's because I have ran tons of errands today. I'm talking about I've had to go, I had to replace a tire today. I had to get an oil change. That took hours. While I was doing that, I was researching for a video. Then I had to go get a couple of things for the house. And then, of course, I just had to stop at the bookstore. So I've just been gone all day and I'm really tired. But I'm still high spirits. I just might seem low spirits because I'm just now sitting down from doing all of that. So now we have the next stack. So we have now The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So I am embarking on my journey of reading The Idiot this year, but I like this copy. It's in really great condition. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to pass this up. And I think, who's the translator? Winner of the Pen Book of the Month Club Translation Prize. I don't know. I wonder. Translated from the Russian by Richard. Okay. So the same people that translated the Tolstoy translated this. So I'll be interested to compare my Constance translation of The Idiot to this one whenever I'm able to get to this one. I think it's just going to be one Dostoevsky this year. It's going to be The Idiot, but I'm glad that I found this. All right, so The Brothers Karamazov is a murder mystery, a courtroom drama, an exploration of erotic rivalry, and a series of triangular love affairs involving the wicked and sentimental Fyodor Pavlomov Karamazov and his three sons, the impulsive and sensual Dmitri, the coldly rational Ivan, and the heartily red-cheeked young novice Alosha. Through the gripping events of their story, Dostoevsky portrays the whole of Russian life, its social and spiritual strivings, and what was both the golden age and a tragic turning point in Russian culture. This award-winning translation by Richard Prevere and Larissa Volkov, I said it right on the thing, and Larissa Volokonsky remains true to the verbal inventiveness of Dostoevsky's prose, preserving the multiple voices, the humor, the surprising the surprising modernity of the original. It is an achievement worthy of Dostoevsky's last and greatest novel. So, yeah, I'm glad I found this. Also, $2. You just cannot beat that. Girl, you just cannot beat that. Then we have a Miss Sheila HTI, How Should a Person Be? Look at that. I've never read any Sheila HTI. This will be my first Sheila HTI. I don't know if this is this a novel? It's fiction, so it's a novel. I didn't know what to expect here, but everyone's reading the Sheila HTI, I think the Alphabet Diaries or something like that. So yeah. All right. So by turns, loved and revealed upon its U.S. publication, Sheila HTI's breakthrough novel is an unabashedly honest and hilarious tour through the unknowable pieces of one woman's heart and mind. Part literary novel, part self-help manual, and part vivid exploration of the artistic and sensual or sexual impulse. How Should a Person Be? Earned HTI comparisons to Henry Miller, Joan Didion, Mary McCarthy, and Flaubert. While shocking and exciting readers with its raw, urgent depiction of female friendship and of the shape of our lives, HTI challenges questions, frustrates, and entertains in equal measure. With urgency and candor, she asks, what is the most noble way to love? What kind of person should you be? I like that. I'm always striving to do better, be better. I'm a very empathetic person, but maybe this might help me to be more empathetic to those who actually don't look like me. I don't know what to expect from Sheila HTI. I don't know. You tell me. I've never read any Sheila HTI, so yeah. Then we have this book here. Don't know, but it's an NYRB. So I figure, why not? It's a brand new book. NYRB, they always publish great things. You know, they bring awareness to authors that we may have never heard of before, or I don't know. But this is called The Simple Past by Dries Sharabi. I think Sharabi. All right, let's read the back. The Simple Past came out in 1954, and both in France and its author's native Morocco, the book caused an explosion of fury. The protagonist, who shares the author's name, Dries, comes from a Moroccan family of means. His father, a self-made tea merchant, the most devout of Muslims, quick to be provoked and ready to lash out verbally or physically, continually bent on subduing his timid wife and many children to his iron and ever-righteous will. He is known simply as the Lord, and Dries, who is in high school, is in full revolt against both him and the French colonial authorities, for whom, as much as for his father, he is no one. Dries Sharabi's classic coming-of-age story is about colonialism, Islam, the subjection of women, and finding, as his novel does, a voice that is as cutting and coruscating as it is original and free. That was a mouthful. I like that it's about colonialism and Islam and the subjection of women, though. I really like that. Let's look up how to say this word, though. That's gonna get under my skin. Coruscating. Coruscating. Child, how do I say that? Coruscating. Child, okay. But yeah, Dries Sharabi, The Simple Past. It's pretty. It's a pretty book. Next we have Jamaica Kincaid, Annie John. Look at that beautiful cover. What? That's pretty. Since her first prize-winning collection of stories, At the Bottom of the River, Jamaica Kincaid's work has been met with nothing short of amazement. The New York Times hailed her prophetic power, and the Los Angeles Times book review said, "No one else seems to be writing quite this way right now." With Annie John, the story of a young girl coming of age in Antigua, Kincaid tore open the theme that lies at the heart of all her fierce, incantatory novels, the ambivalent and essential bonds created by a mother's love. In this novel, written in Kincaid's lucid, elemental style, Annie John's ambivalence is universally familiar and wrenchingly real. This is a beautiful cover. This will be my first Kincaid. And yeah. Love it. And then I have a mate to my book that I read last year. I'm so glad I found this copy because they go together. So we have another Steinbeck. This one is The Grapes of Wrath. And I'm trying to say it's the mate to why can't I ever remember that story? Is it back there? No, it's on my bookshelf in the living room. Why can't I remember that? This ain't never even been opened before, child. Y'all, don't sleep on secondhand book shopping, okay? Do not sleep on secondhand book shopping. I'm still trying to think of the damn book. What book did I read last year by John Steinbeck? That was one of my favorite books of the year that I can't freaking think of. That's about the Salinas Valley. What's the name of the book? I'm tired, y'all. They don't have his books listed. East of Eden. But this is The Grapes of Wrath. I just had to get it. So yeah, I've never seen the Grapes of Wrath movie. I never read the book. I don't even know what this is about. So let's read. The Grapes of Wrath is a landmark of American literature, a portrait of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless, of one man's fierce reaction to injustice and of one woman's stoical strength. The novel captures the horrors of the Great Depression and probes into the very nature of equality and justice in America. Although it follows the movement of thousands of men and women and the transformation of an entire nation, The Grapes of Wrath is also the story of the one Oklahoma family, the Jodes, who are driven off their homestead and forced to travel west to the promised land of California. Out of their trials and their repeated collisions against the hard realities of an America divided into haves and have-nots, evolves a drama that is intensely human yet majestic in its scale and moral vision, elemental yet plain spoken, tragic but ultimately steering in its human dignity. First published in 1939. Whoa. The Grapes of Wrath summed up its era in the way that Uncle Tom's Cabin summed up the years of slavery before the Civil War. Sensitive to fascist and communist criticism, Steinbeck insisted that the battle hymn of the Republic he printed in its entirety in the first edition of the book, which takes its title from the first verse. I'm not reading all the rest of that. All right, so we hear what it's about. I'm into it. Why not? Okay. I'll read it. I'll read all of these. I'm going to read all of these. And then I've also been looking for this, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I don't love the cover, but I don't hate it either. I don't hate it. It's not as bad as the Neapolitan Quartets. I know that. But I've been looking for this and I love that cover with, I think, the house and what's the name? But it's just like, I'm not that invested to where I'm about to sit up and order that book. So when I saw this, I was like, wonderful, great, I'll take it. So this is a classic, by Miss Betty Smith. I think it's an immigrant story. I don't know. Let's see. A profoundly moving novel and an honest and true one. It cuts right to the heart of life. If you miss A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, you will if you miss A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, you will deny yourself a rich experience. It is a poignant and deeply understanding story of childhood and family relationships. The Nolans lived in the Williamsburg slums of Brooklyn from 1902 until 1919. Their daughter Francie and their son Neely knew more than their fair share of the privations and sufferings that are the lot of a great city's poor. Primarily, this is Francie's book. She is a superb feat of characterization, an imaginative, alert, resourceful child, and Francie's growing up in the beginnings of wisdom are the substance of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. So yeah, book 1. Originally published in 1943. Wow, this is a 1992. This is the 1998 version. So yeah, I'm glad I found it. A lot of people have read it, and I want to read it also. And so that, my friends, is the book haul for today. So now I'm about to get ready and add these to my bookshelves, and I'm gonna do another video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my low-spirited video. I hope it's not that low of spirits. I promise you I'm fine. I'm just tired. And I'll see you guys in my next upload. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. Comment below if you read some of these books. Let me know how you feel about the haul, all the things. And I'll see you guys in the next upload. Deuces.